The perception out in the marketplace is that you've sort of been off the scene for a bit. Obviously, you've been touring, but it's been, what, 2.5 years since the album?
Yeah.
So what you been doing since late 2008? Clearly.
Oh, God. Touring. We did 154 shows on the last tour and then got off the road and immediately went into this record. And I think I had this image of like this record taking maybe 6 months and us getting out and doing it all over again. And as the songs really started to materialize and really started to see what it was going to take to get these songs where they needed to go, it became very apparent that it was going to be a longer process. But I think the end result is far and away musically the most mature record I've ever been a part of, lyrically probably the most therapeutic, and definitely I would say my best record to date.
Is it safe to say of all the idols you've toured, you're like the biggest road warrior of all the idols?
I hope so. I love being on the road. It's my favorite thing about this whole deal. It mixes my two favorite things, playing music and traveling. So we did, a ton of shows last tour. I would love to do more this one. And yeah, I don't know. For some reason, the idea of sleeping on a bus just appeals to me.
You need to do one of those music videos like Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
You on the bus looking out a rain-soaked window.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, what are you doing, man? Let's just go on the road,
So how did that affect, obviously, the album? Because you did so much touring between the albums. Like, were you writing on the road live or things like that, testing songs on the road?
I wrote a little on the road, but I think with it being the first tour, and probably naively so, I tried to, not write too much and really focus on experiencing the road and finding finding my niche, I think, out on the road. So I think the way that this record came about is exactly the way this record needed to come about. I think while we were on the road, I was, life happens, the highs and lows of kind of that lifestyle, and I kind of put it all on a shelf, and when we got off the road, all of a sudden that stuff came back and I couldn't really avoid it anymore. And so when I say things like most therapeutic record I've ever been a part of, I think it's because while I'm writing, I'm also dealing with this stuff, and it became very, there's some open wounds on this record, for sure.
So you weren't writing a bunch of, Beth-style songs about being on the road?
No, it wasn't, you won't see me sitting on a stool holding a rose at any of these shows. That was a Kiss reference, just so anybody who doesn't know now knows. I think where this record ended up is the culmination of having the time and really having a producer in Matt Streletic who understood the scope of what I wanted to do and really what the best way was to get there.
So you say lyrically it was therapeutic. Mm-hmm.
Explain. I think the title, "This Loud Morning," is actually a song lyric in the song, the last track on the record, a song called "Rapid Eye Movement," and the lyric is "Give me one more quiet night before this loud morning gets it right and does me in." And I think as we were going through the beginning of this process, especially, I was a little burnt out. I was just like, you wake up in the morning and all I wanted to do is pull a blanket over myself and call it a day and start over. And the morning was just a bit loud, and so I started to really kind of tune into this romantic idea of I can create this whole life for myself, and it's 7-8 hours that I go to sleep every night, and that's kind of my reprieve. And so really that's what the record shapes up as. We have this opening track, Circadian, that talks about falling asleep and kind of escaping the day, and then the rest of the record is the gestation period of a relationship from start to finish. And so you see this couple in love, and it's them against the world, and then that moment when everything goes wrong, and how do you not deal with that? And then the closing track, Rapid Eye Movement, is kind of waking up and realizing, damn it, it wasn't real, and I got to deal with another day.
So this is all autobiographical?
I think loosely autobiographical. I think where the record ended up, I just didn't want to lie lyrically, and I wanted this to be something that felt honest and felt real, and believe me, I'm happy. I love my life. I love where I'm at, but it can't be all sunshine and flowers all the time, I suppose.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, going in the 2.5 years, or I guess it's maybe 3 years since you won.
Sure.
I mean, that's a trajectory that most people can't really.
Yeah, and I just met the Idol contestants this year and was talking to them about Yeah, like, do you have any advice? I was just like, sleep. You know, I mean, 3 years into this, I'm still playing catch up, and it's that way. You know, you get tied to a rocket ship, and you're going with it no matter what. So it's all about kind of slowly climbing up that rope and getting caught up to the ship. So, but it has been an incredible experience. I think to be able to travel all over the world and do so just to play a guitar and sing into a microphone. It's pretty rad existence.
You said rad.
I
It's
know.
one of my favorite words. People
All
make
right.
fun of me all the time when I say
Oh,
rad.
we got to bring it back.
That was rad.
Yeah.
Cliche question, but how do you stay grounded? I put up. No one can see me, but I'm doing
She's doing this.
doing that because it is it. But seriously, I mean, not everyone would be able to under these circumstances.
Man, it's just all about who you surround yourself with, and I as much as I love my career, I mean it's my career, and it's only part of who I am. And so I have a great group of people around me, whether it be professionally or personally. My parents are amazing. My family's fantastic. I have great friends, and I get to work with amazing people every day. So
have you made it a point to keep a lower profile than some? Like, we don't see you in the tabloids and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I've always kind of been a homebody anyway, and so it's a little easier because I'm not the guy that's going to go clubbing 4 nights a week or 5 nights a week or whatever. So
you were at the Frolic Room on TMZ.
Yeah, exactly, with that horrid mustache. Yeah.
So the fact that it was the Frolic Room and not like some
exactly. Well, yeah. I mean,
place was
I've never made a secret of the fact I love dive bars. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to find an establishment that everything, all the decor is probably like 95% like hard oak wood, and there's old pictures hanging up and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've always just kind of gravitated towards that kind of scene. So makes it a lot easier out here.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about your single.
Sure.
I keep calling it This Loud Goodbye. Or This Long... Yeah,
I can see where the confusion sits. Yeah.
You mentioned that, it's your album's sort of about a relationship. So was it basically a message to someone? Because it says, if you hear this on the radio...
Not really to any one person. I think it was more just... I didn't want to write like an angry anti-love song. But I love the sentiment of just... look, we gave it a shot, and this relationship just lasted a bit too long, so I'm going to say goodbye. And I feel like that's something probably a lot of people can relate to, if not everybody. And I've certainly been there on a couple of occasions. So it just felt like kind of the natural song to go with.
So there's no one who's going to hear it on the radio and go, oh snap, I guess.
I hope not. It's not really about any one person. So just general experience.
Is that song indicative of what the album's going to be like? Because I'll be honest, I like you in up-tempo mode.
Mm-hmm.
The last couple songs you had were more, they weren't power ballads, but they were a little more mid-tempo. And this is like your first single that's really like an up-tempo, summery song.
Yeah.
Is that indicative of where you're going?
A little bit. I think the one thing I really want to drive home with this record is that musically there's just more scope than the last record. I think with the time frame that we had with the first record, it kind of I behooved myself to like stick in this mode that I felt comfortable in. With this record, it was really more about pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and finding different things and seeing what worked, and really just stretching myself as a writer and as an artist. And so songs like Last Goodbye came out. We also have songs that are really kind of more piano driven and stuff that's really just I hate saying this just because I hate putting things in a box, but it really kind of takes me outside my box, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I think overall I'm just really excited for people to hear this record and really see, I think, where I can stretch myself and where it works.